Fine, I'm here
Well,
still. I'm still in the lockdown here in Argentina. I really hope to be next week already in the office.
hmm
So I'm exciting in this really time because I'm a little bit nervous because the flight will be take maybe 12 or 13 hours. So I
hmm
maybe I will need something to a little help to sleep,
hmm
but I'm fine. I'm good right now. Well, what about you?
Okay, don't worry. When you are going to come, we are going to be here waiting you. Okay, so okay,
Okay.
hi to all the people that is. Thank you for coming for this streaming. This is Alan, and this is Jose Perez from Sachita. Alan is the CTO of the company. He's right now during these days. He's in Argentina. I am based in Spain. I am in the HQ. So he's going to come again. He's going to travel here next week. Um, the topic of the meeting today is it is based on one question that I got from one customer some days ago, and I moved this topic to Alan, as a CTO, because one customer, Alan, asked me which was the methodology that we use usually to implant one solution, because he told me that he really like it. He like it. No, I am really fan and really follower of agile methodology. I have, for 10 years I'm selling projects and I'm working really deep in software as a service business.
Hmm.
And I really don't have experience, to take these kind of decisions. I am follower. I trust you. I trust to our COO, but I have not this kind of experience taking decision in which moment or based on which variables do we have to take the decision to use Kanban, Scrum, Waterfall, which is maybe the main question is a which is the best.
Okay, that's a great question. Yeah, yeah, that's a really good question because first of all, we have to make a difference between both methodology. For example, we have a traditional way
Mhm.
uh, with which begin in the early 70s to the beginning of this century, and
Huh?
it was the traditional way is called waterfall
Mhm.
methodology.
Mhm.
What is waterfall? Well, what is this methodology? Okay, this is a kind of a framework just to deliver software. But the way to do is to separate it in roles, and you make a continuous work just in the beginning for the planning, then you
Mhm.
continue with the design, then the coding, and then the testing.
Mhm.
Where is the problem exactly here? If you will find any error, anything to change in the testing time, you have to
Mhm.
come back to the beginning and
Mhm.
start again with the planning, with the design after, then with the coding, and then with the testing.
Mhm.
So that's the main feature of the waterfall.
Mhm.
So what?
Let me ask you to be sure because I remember this when I am industrial engineer. So when I was studying in the university a long time ago, they show me Microsoft projects, and
Yeah.
I think that you're talking about if we can explain that the waterfall is like use Microsoft projects really to
Hmm.
do all the steps, so it's the main task that is going to have subtask, and each task
Exactly.
can be managed by one or more people, and they have to close, and they
Yeah.
can be dependent or not dependent. Try to look for which is the way to do in the shortest time. Really, this is waterfall? Really, is
Yes.
what
This
we
is
think in
waterfall.
Microsoft project? Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
when we think in waterfall, it's about all monolithic software development, like for example Microsoft, Microsoft tools. So in the 50 years ago, 15 years ago, it
Mm-hmm.
changed. It changed everything
Mm-hmm.
because the software become uncertainty. So you have no, if you want to create a new tool, a new thing throughout software,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then maybe in the future when you deliver the version of software,
Mm-hmm.
it would have to apply change that you had no idea in the beginning. So the methodology must to change. This change was the agile methodology, and that's when comes the agile concept. The agile concept is perfect for designing continuous work, a continuous deliver of the product. If you're thinking in create a new product on a new market, for example, you have to apply agile methodology, and that's because it's easier just to apply change in different stage in the development area. For example, if you the agile methodology split or divide the project by little pieces of project, which is called sprint. One sprint is just when you take one or two or maybe three features to make a little product of itself. So why is the perfect tool to manage a new software on a new market? Because in difference than the traditional methodology, you have to apply planning, design, coding, and testing all in the same sprint and each sprint take 2 or 3 weeks. So you will have a preview of 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe it is easier and faster to apply change because it only takes 2 or 3 weeks. In difference than the traditional way that maybe when the waterfall is in the end, maybe it will take 4 months, 5 months, who knows? But that's the main difference. If you are gonna creating a new product on a new market, well, agile is the solution. Agile methodology is the solution for the software team.
So new product, a new market. This is one of the topics that I wanted to ask you. Right now, I am part of one project working for one university. So the question that they ask to us is, or the help that they need from us is, please take us to the position that we have to be in 2 years. So when we have this kind of approach, when the customer do this kind of challenge to us, to me, working a Scrum or working Kanban, to me is not in my brain. I can't imagine. To me it's something like, okay, no. We are going to be implanting, because the idea is how we are going to transform the business model, how we are going to transform, the relationships between, the customer and our customer, the company and the end customer, or how it's going to be, I don't know, the methodology to have internal communication between the workers, how they, what are we going to sell in 2 years? This I remember the first question that they did to this customer was, okay, how we are going to get incomes in 2 years? Are we going to be doing the same? So in this type of projects, I can imagine that Waterfall, in my vision, this is my vision, Waterfall is the solution. But Scrum or Kanban is new product, a new market. Okay, but let me ask you, because if we are going to implant software, okay, let's not think that we are software developers, okay? We are not software factory. If we are implanting ERP, like Cloud ERP, like Zoho One, or any other, or maybe only the CRM, or maybe, it's the ERP, the CRM, the sales funnel, one sales funnel in the CRM, or the, I don't know, something like that, the lead nurturing, or the, any, So how we can manage it all, is because I could feel that is Scrum the best methodology to implant one CM? Maybe yes, I don't know, maybe yes. But my feeling is that usually we talk about the Scrum really fast because we don't understand what is a Scrum. Because you told me that the Scrum needs one Scrum Master, one daily, blah, blah, blah. Is huge people to manage a Scrum, really?
Yes. A Scrum team are usually a team of 6 or 7 people. You have to define roles when you apply agile methodology. For example, if you are applying Scrum, so you have to know who is gonna be the product owner and the Scrum Master. I mean, these two roles are so important during all the process. You have to define these persons before the development begin. That's a little difference than the Kanban, because Kanban it's not necessary to define roles. So if you are thinking, for example, in a project of 2 years, as you told me, okay, if you're if we are thinking in 2 years, uh, to be honest, and nobody can be sure what's gonna happen in 2 years. So because maybe the technology are gonna change, or maybe there will appear another solution, another new solution. So you have to apply agile methodology, but maybe there are ways to do it in a traditional way, just applying agile methodology into the process. That's a combination, because that's not that I take traditional way or I take agile way. I mean, each company takes the methodology and create the own methodology, because this methodology are not like a religion. You have to apply change to every customer and every business. So if we are thinking, for example, in ERP or in CRM, we already know this tool. I mean, that won't be a new product or on a new market. You already know the feature that it has to have.
Yeah.
So Waterfall is not a bad solution for that. It's not that agile is the solution for everything. Maybe in some products, in some developments, the traditional way works fine. That's because it depends on each customer, each budget, each software to deliver. So we have to see each solution for each one. So if we are thinking in 2 years, I think, because it's my point of view, that agile methodology and maybe Kanban is the best solution for that. But if the customer decide to start with the traditional way, because maybe they want to see each stage and each final of each stage, so maybe traditional works fine, just to show it, to show them how is advancing the project. When you're working in agile technology, as I told you, we need a product owner, which is a kind of interlocutor between the customer and the team of and the development team. So I don't know exactly for a project of 2 years, but if I have to think about my tools, my experience, I decide that agile methodology are the best one for that, but it depends on each case.
So to summarize this part of the talk, maybe it should be something like, okay, if we don't know where are we going, maybe work step by step or sprint by sprint is better, because we don't know where we want to go, and we want to get we want to be working, getting experience, and we really don't know where we want to go, really. And maybe in this other type of projects that we can work to, that the customer wants to have the photo about how is going to be the results in 1 year and 2 years, maybe it's better to dedicate resources to planify from at the beginning, to try to understand better which is the final photo, to be sure, really, that we want to, that if we want to, if we know that we want to go to the moon, maybe it's better have it all planified,
Exactly.
If we are going to work a bit, maybe we can take decisions. But if we think in the point of view of money, it's interesting, this other point of view about the cost. Talking about cost, what is cheap, what is not cheap, which is your vision?
Okay, if we take the cost, maybe it is different because it depends on each team. But for example, if you are thinking in continuous delivery, in continuous work, so you have to know that agile is the best solution for that. But regarding the cost, we have a traditional way which is usually is even more expensive than agile technology. Pero I'm sorry. That's because in the end of each stage, you have to come back, and it take money, and it takes time, and time is money. So if we are thinking in cost, the traditional way, the waterfall, is more expensive than agile. However, we have to consider that agile technology, Scrum, for example, needs to define roles, and these roles are not necessary in.
What is the role? I don't understand. What is the role? Or what is the meaning of defining roles? Can you?
Yeah.
Explain me one example.
For example, if you are creating something with a Scrum, you will need a product owner, as I told you, which create all the documentation, who are going to explain to the customer about the advance of the project. You will need a Scrum Master will be arrange each daily meeting or sprint planning. You will need different roles of developers. For example, you will need a developer for backend, developer for front end, a designer, a QA, etc. So those are the roles to apply in a Scrum methodology. In Agile, in another Agile methodology, which is Kanban, it's not necessary to define roles because you already have a funnel of working. It's the typical board where you have to do, in progress, and done. It's not necessary to define roles in this methodology in Kanban because you already have a continuous funnel of work, and this funnel maybe come from the project manager. The project manager define, okay, we have to do these things, and the developer or the development team, which take each card and will make maybe one or two cards, and it move to the in progress board. So if we apply Kanban, it's not necessary to define roles. If we apply Scrum, it's necessary to define roles. If we apply Waterfall, okay, Waterfall has, we have to consider that it's super necessary to have a good documentation, and maybe we have to spend a long time, time is money, in documentation. So if we have any problem in the end of the development, the documentation has to change. So all the process begin, and that's what I try to explain. Waterfall is like a big process. Yeah, it's like a monster because it's not it's not clear how to change it.
To me, the feeling, Alan, my feeling, maybe it's because I'm an old man, I'm 45 years old, and I think, okay, if someone is going to do my house, I should prefer to use Waterfall. I should prefer to know what can happen. I should prefer have it all planified. But I understand that maybe is another way to try to approach for the big projects. If we have not the resources at the beginning, or maybe we need to launch something, for we closer for the market and start testing the idea, and the market gets okay, and later we can pivot. The idea of pivot. Really, people pivot. To me, the feeling is that the people talks about pivot when they don't know where they go. Okay, it's something. Okay, I can pivot. No. Okay, but maybe. Maybe you have only one bullet for your gun, and you can't dedicate time, to pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot, because you have to pay salaries. So this is why. But I understand that in the last years that the entrepreneurship and and this kind of new ecosystem of software, and the software is different than building a house, because it's not physical materials, is software. I understand that
Yeah,
visions.
but it is I mean it is a good example because you can apply agile methodology in building. If you, for example, have a lot of money and you have no idea how it's gonna be the building in the end, so you can apply agile, but
Mhm.
that's because you have no idea how
This,
the building is gonna be.
yeah, this is what has done my father when he was doing the little, the little house in the mountain. I think maybe he's 70 years old. Okay, so maybe he invented the agile methodology doing this house because they at the beginning I remember that he did one room and later he did the kitchen 5 years later. And
Yes.
maybe I don't know where he did the toilet, so maybe he was using agile, but I understand you that
one
uh,
what
yeah.
one of the disadvantage of agile methodology, which
Mhm.
is important just to define, is the lacking of documentation.
Yeah.
That's the main problem of agile, is that when you want to change something, there's no documentation. And that's a super problem of agile technology because it is focused on continuous development. Uh, it is not focused on documentation. So
Okay. Yeah,
that's,
it's in delivering, deliver,
yes,
really for the next
yes,
step. Next step, go to
exactly.
market and test. Okay, I
You,
understand.
you,
Okay.
you have 2 weeks to deliver something with 2 or 3 features more than the
The
last
previous.
version.
Okay.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that's the main concept of the agile methodology. If we are creating, for example, an ERP, so we already know what CRM can have. So the traditional way can be even in this example to creating an ERP,
Mhm.
maybe Waterfall works fine, and it's and could be even cheaper. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that
Okay.
that's yes, that's the main reason, because it depends on each case.
Mhm.
We have to analyze and define each methodology depending on the customer, on the budget of the team,
Mhm.
on many aspects.
Mhm. So maybe as a conclusion to finish this talk
Yeah.
today, maybe should be something like if we are going to implement one ERP like Soho One, that can be, I don't know, maybe 5 different tools. Each one can be strong, can need towards, so maybe 10 tools, maybe 50, 20
Yeah.
different modules, different areas. There is not one specific way of thinking. Maybe it depends on if the customer want to see something very fast only for
Yeah.
starting and they don't think in the future. Maybe it's better to sell them that we are going to use a Scrum or something like that, or Kanban, or okay, or maybe one onboarding, sharing the screen and doing, the basic, and later
Yes.
in the future, God will help us. Okay. um if there is other type of customer that they need, or they think that they want to have it absolutely clear, which is the
Mm.
price, and we have where is going to be the company in 6 months, in 3 months, in 1 year. Maybe in this case it's better to use Waterfall. I remember that you have told me about the how important is the communication really in all the
Yeah.
methodologies. It doesn't matter which is the methodology, is really important. Get the feedback of the customer, make him
Yes.
happy, understand that really it doesn't matter really in the three methodologies. Communication, I think, is the key, really.
Yes. Yes. The communication is the key in every aspect of the business. Even which the salesman has to be communicating, has to be a fluent communication with the development team, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
So the communication is important in every aspect of each methodology.
Okay.
But for example, if you are applying a waterfall methodology, it is not focused on communication, because it is focused on each deliver and
Yeah.
in
Okay.
of each stage. So
Okay.
if we are focused on communication between the team, so agile is the solution. So it's not easy to define who is the winner here,
Mhm.
because it depends on each case.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, so I hope that we have helped for our viewers to take the best decision. That the best decision is that we really don't know which is the best way to implant. There is not one that is the winner, really.
Exactly.
It depends on your budget. It depends on the experience of the customer. Purchasing.
Mhm.
Taking implanting. If they have bought software before or not. So I think that if they have experience, they are going to be more patient, waiting for the customer or waiting for the results. Sorry. If this is the fifth time that they are paying really for getting, they want to see something. They want
Yeah.
to. You told me one time that there are a lot of people that they want the baby, but they don't want the 9 months. Really, this was your
Yeah.
phrase, really.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
maybe there is other customer that they want to be part of these 9 months, and they want the
Exactly.
paint, and they want the baby, and
Exactly.
they want the cry of the baby. So, Alan, thanks for this talk. I hope you're going to have a good travel next
Thank
day.
you.
Really, in 4 or 5 days, we are going to be together. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Hi.
you.
Bye bye to
Bye
all.
bye. Thank you.
And see you next time. Bye bye.
See you.